Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be another classic movie review for you guys, and this time, the movie I'm going to be reviewing is a movie that I've been wanting to see for quite a long time. Ever since I saw this movie, Gladiator, I wanted to see this movie, especially after watching, Gladiator. Really wanted to see it. And that movie is none other than the 1995 historical drama war classic, Braveheart. Now, Braveheart was a movie that I really wanted to see, and that's because, as I said, this movie, Gladiator, these two films get compared constantly, and I'm going to talk about why they're compared so much. But I really wanted to see Braveheart, I really want to check it out. Unfortunately, it left Netflix today, so I knew I had to get it on Blu-ray because I wanted it to be one of the last 4 films I watched, because as I told you guys, I have 4 more movies to review. And, so yeah, I just finished watching Braveheart. And overall, what did I think of Braveheart? Braveheart is a masterpiece. I thought Braveheart was 10 times better than Gladiator. Don't get me wrong, I really like Gladiator. I thought it was a very good movie. But in my opinion, Braveheart is a better movie. I really enjoyed the story of it more. And I just thought overall, Braveheart was just fantastic and is a masterpiece. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's definitely one of the best biopics I've seen. And this is a biopic, I will say that. This is a biopic because of because this is a real person. This person is a real person. So, let's talk about what this movie's about. Basically, this movie's about this guy, William Wallace, and, he's this guy who is living in Scotland, and there's this king, King Edward, Longshanks, and he invades and conquers Scotland, following the death of Alexander III, and, William, witnesses this, the treachery of Longshanks, survives the death of his father and brother, and is taken aboard to Rome. Now, years later, Longshanks, he's granting his noblemen land and privileges in Scotland, and, his brother marries this girl, Isabella. He marries this girl, Isabella, and, William falls in love with this girl, Murren. He really likes this girl, Murren. He and Murren are planning on having a secret wedding together, but that is not okay, for the king. That's not what they want them to do, because they have to have this ceremony where, on the right of the Lord, to have sex with a woman subject on her wedding night. That's kind of what it's about, what's going on there. And they want to have, a secret wedding, basically, so that the king doesn't find out about it. Well, in short, basically what ends up happening is Murren ends up almost raped. She ends up almost raped by this guy. And William does save her from being raped, she's raped, but she's almost raped by English soldiers, and because of this, as a consequence for this happening, she is captured and publicly executed in retribution, and William gets really upset over this. He is tired of these laws happening, and as a result of this happening, he wants to seek revenge on the king and all of the English lords. He does not want this to happen anymore. He is sick of them not having freedom, and basically he wants to have his own freedom so they can do their own thing. He's tired of living under the king's law, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to have freedom, and so that's what he decides to do. He just wants to have freedom, and that's basically the plot of Braveheart. And it's just such a more interesting plot than Gladiator. I love the plot of Gladiator, but I think Braveheart is just a lot more interesting with the plot. Interestingly enough, Gladiator, Mel Gibson was actually offered the role for, Gladiator, I don't remember what his name was, Maximus. He was actually offered the role for that, but he said, oh, no, I'm too young for, I'm too old for that. But, yeah, so I thought that's kind of interesting. That's kind of why those two movies are compared a lot. But let's talk about the acting in this movie. The acting is absolutely fantastic. I thought the acting was better in this than Gladiator, because this movie's more of an acting movie, while Gladiator's more of an action movie, and this movie definitely has more of a story to it than Gladiator. The acting in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Our main star here is Mel Gibson as William Wallace. This is by far Mel Gibson's best performance. I mean, really, he gave an amazing performance here. You rooted for his character so much. I rooted for his character so much. I mean, I really wanted him to succeed in getting Scotland their freedom, because they were being, ruled by this terrible king. You really wanted him to have their freedom. There's that classic scene with him where, they're getting ready to attack the English soldiers, and they have their face painted blue, and they don't know what's going to happen to them, but, William Wallace gives them that really great speech about freedom. It is one of the most memorable speeches of all time. You guys, I could talk about this, I could, recite that speech for you guys, but if you guys really want to check out that speech, go on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's one of the most famous speeches in American cinema. It's just, one of the most famous speeches in film history, definitely. Really, it's a really famous speech, but he definitely gave an amazing job, especially toward the end of this movie. Oh my god, he gave an amazing job. Like, seriously, he was amazing, and he definitely deserved that Oscar nomination that he got. I believe he won the Oscar, actually, which I find this extremely weird. Winner of 5 Academy Awards, winner of 5 Academy Awards. I just find that weird in my opinion, but he did get the Oscar, for, Best Actor, and he definitely deserved because he was amazing. He was absolutely fantastic. Also, James Robinson as young William Wallace, he was fine. Not much to say about him. He was just a kid actor in the first 20 minutes. He was good, though, in my opinion. Sophia Marcoux as Isabella, I thought she was very, very good. I really liked that she wanted to go against the king and actually really cared about William. At first, she was sent there to blackmail him, basically, into falling for the king's plan, but she ended up really falling in love with him, and I really liked her character. She wanted to take a stand for this as well. She was sick of living with the king and everything, and I just thought she was a very good character, and I really enjoyed her character, definitely. She gave a very good performance, definitely very good. Patrick McGowan as Longshanks. This is an amazing villain. I mean, he is such an amazing villain in this movie. You hate this guy. This guy he does not believe in freedom at all. He does what he wants. He does what he wants done, and definitely what he wants done. By the way, I forgot to say, William Wallace is one of those guys where if you do anything to piss him off, if you do anything to hurt someone that he loves, anyone that he cares about, anyone that matters to him, he will find you and he will kill you. That's the kind of guy that William Wallace is. Because he does not take a stand, he does not put up with this, these laws anymore. He's not putting up with it anymore. And that's kind of, what the movie's about. But back to Longshanks, very good job for him. He did an amazing job in the movie. He actually didn't get nominated for anything in the movie, but he definitely should have, because he was very good in the movie. I thought he was a better villain than the villain in Gladiator. Definitely very, very good villain. Really enjoyed his acting in the movie. He was just absolutely fantastic. Really, really good acting from him. Catherine McCormick as Myrn, she's only in the movie for about 30 minutes, but she was very good for what those 30 minutes were. I mean, you really wanted it to work out for her and him. I really didn't expect her to die in the first 30 minutes. It's not a spoiler, by the way, because that's basically the plot of the movie, so it's not a spoiler, but she definitely was very, very good in the movie. The chemistry with her and Mel Gibson was very good. You really, wanted it to work out for them. I really liked their scenes together. Very, very cute scenes together. I mean, they were some of the only scenes that were actually really cute, because before the movie's kind of cute when it's them, and you just really cared about them, and you really saw that he cared about her, and that's one of the things that I really liked about her character, definitely. Angus McFadden as Robert, I thought he was definitely a very interesting character. He worked for the king and everything. Very interesting twist with his character, which I'll talk about. But I really enjoyed his acting. Definitely he should have gotten nominated for an Oscar as well, and he didn't. He was definitely very, very good. And the only other person I think I'll talk about is Peter Hanley as Prince Edward. He is sort of the guy that his father's telling him to do things for him and things like that. He reminded me so much of Joffrey. Oh my god, he reminded me so much of Joffrey from Game of Thrones. I don't know why, but this also, just like Gladiator, this reminded me of Game of Thrones. In my opinion, this is better than Game of Thrones, but it reminded me so much of Game of Thrones. Really, it did. It reminded me so much of Game of Thrones, and I was surprised at how much it reminded me of Game of Thrones. But yeah, that's all the acting, really. That's all I really need to talk about for the acting. Let's get to the directing. The director is actually Mel Gibson, and obviously he did an amazing job. He starred and directed in the movie, and he did a great job directing the movie, definitely. He captured the time period of 12th century Scotland very, very well. He captured it very, very well. The only thing with this movie is it's actually known as one of the most historically inaccurate movies of all time, and honestly, who gives a shit if it's historically inaccurate? If it's a good movie, that's what matters. All these people, like, complain over it, and I find that really stupid. It's like, I don't care that it's historically inaccurate. I care that it's a really good movie, and it really is, and he just set the tone so well. I mean, the way that he put you in Scotland. He put you in Scotland, he put you in that time period, and he just did such an amazing job with that. Like, the way he captured Scotland was so well done, and I really loved about his directing. Fantastic directing, he set the tone perfectly, everything was great with his directing. The writing in this movie was also very good. I really like the twists that this movie had. This movie had quite a few twists, which I'll talk about when we get to spoiler territory, but definitely very good. That was definitely very good in the movie. I really enjoyed that. The other thing I really like about the movie, by far, one of the best parts of the movie is the cinematography. Oh my god, the first few shots of the movie, you get to see Scotland. The cinematography was gorgeous in this movie. Gorgeous. I loved all the shots of Scotland. I loved how we got to see Scotland. You really felt like you were in Scotland, like I said. And just the way those shots were executed, just really good cinematography. I think it won Best Cinematography, and don't quote me on that, but I believe it did. And if it did, it definitely deserved it, because it was really good cinematography. The editing in this movie is also fantastic. This movie is almost 3 hours long. It is this short of 3 hours. It is 3 minutes short of 3 hours, and it went by like that. It really went by so fast. I was so surprised at how fast this went. This movie's very fast-paced, by the way. I don't know if it was me, but I felt like this movie was really fast-paced. I guess it was just into the story, but the editing was perfect in this movie. I have no problems with the editing. I thought the editing was very well done, and the editing was just fantastic. I love the editing in this movie. Just really good editing, and it's 177 minutes, but it went by like that, so definitely very good. And the only thing I'll talk about is, it was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, and it took home 5. It got Best Picture, Best Makeup, Best Cinematography, Best Sound Editing, and Best Director. It definitely deserves all of those. The costumes were great in this movie as well. I mean, the costumes were amazing, really. So good. And, the thing about Braveheart is, without Braveheart, we would not have films like Gladiator. Really, we wouldn't have. Basically, without Braveheart, there would be no Gladiator. That's why Braveheart and Gladiator are compared so much. I do believe Braveheart is better, though. Now, let's get to the spoilers. If you guys have not seen Braveheart, major spoilers ahead, and I'm talking major spoilers here. So if you guys have not seen Braveheart, please do not watch just this review. I want you guys to see Braveheart for yourself, because if you guys know the ending of Braveheart, it's really going to spoil the movie for you. It's going to spoil the best part of the movie. So let's just get to it. So, of course, as we know, probably the hardest part of the movie to watch was when William was tortured. I mean, that's by far one of the most gruesome torture scenes I've seen. And for whatever reason, it reminded me of when Jesus Christ was crucified. I don't know why, but it really seemed like that. And the thing was, that whole time that he is being tortured, the whole crowd is, like, cheering. You don't know if they're cheering for him or against him, what they really think of him. But either way, you really want him to make it out of this. You really want him to be okay. But you know that he's not going to be okay because of what he did. And just the way the movie ends with him shouting freedom was just so well done. And I almost cried. I really did. When he saw Murrin in the crowd, I was this close to tearing up. I was this close to crying. I mean, when he saw Murrin in the crowd and he got his head cut off, this close to crying. I'm not kidding. About this close, really, I was. That's how close I was to crying. But, that's one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion, was the torturing scene. Even though it was so hard to watch, it was so well done. And that's one of the reasons why Mel Gibson is so, is remembered so much for this performance, was because of that last final scene. When Isabella turned, basically, told Longshanks, I'm not going to be a part of this anymore, and she basically told him that she was pregnant with William's child, I thought that was a good way to do it. I was happy that everyone betrayed him in the end, except for his son. Robert betrayed him, and I love the way it ended with Robert's monologue, that we found that Robert was the one that was narrating the movie. Like, that was really good. I thought that was interesting, that Robert ended up being the king. I mean, he really actually wanted to, saw what William wanted to do, and I thought the movie was definitely very well done in that aspect. I really enjoyed that part of the movie. And then, of course, Longshanks got what was coming to him. He did die, of course. He got what was coming to him, pretty much. He had to die. He had to die in the movie, and that's what we need. He had to die. The other thing to talk about in this movie is, this movie pretty much is called Braveheart because he had a very brave heart, pretty much. He really cared so much for people, and because of what he did save Scotland. Now, I don't know what happened in real life. Honestly, I don't give a shit what happened in real life, because this was the 12th century. I don't care what happened, and I don't really care what happened in the 12th century, 12th century Scotland. I don't really care what happened in that time period in real life. I care what happened in this movie. And just the way it was executed in this movie was just so well done. I highly recommend all of you check out Braveheart. I was surprised by how much I loved it. I did not expect to love this movie. I expected to really like this movie. I did not expect to love this movie as much as I did. It is by far probably the best of these, like, medieval type of movies I've seen. These kind of, like, epic sort of, like, fantasy type of movies. Fantasy is not really my genre. Fantasy is not really something that I'm as into. I mean, something like Gladiator. After seeing this movie, Gladiator's overrated. I'm sorry, but Gladiator, after seeing this, is overrated. I love Gladiator, don't get me wrong, but I really fucking love Braveheart. I was surprised by how much I loved it. I was so into the story the entire time, so into the movie, so into the characters, and just, you get sucked into this movie very easily. I mean, even though it's so long, you get sucked in the story, and the movie went by so fast, I didn't even realize it was over when it was over, and that's one of the reasons why this movie was so good, in my personal opinion. So I highly recommend you guys check out Braveheart, because it's a fantastic movie, and everyone really needs to check it out. But that's basically it for my review of Braveheart. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you guys saw this movie. Again, I was very surprised by how much I love this movie. I was very surprised by it. At the end of the day, no, it is not the best classic movie I've watched. It is not as good as American Beauty. It is still a very good classic movie, but it's not my favorite that I've watched by any means. I have 3 more classic movies to review for you guys, so stick around for that. But my next review will be for my review of tonight's episode of Girl Meets World. So I will see you guys, it just ended, so that's gonna be my next review. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.